Hey, welcome back, Project Ultimate Lifers. Today I'm here to talk about gratitude and the importance of it. I'm wrapping up a chapter at the Asian Football Cup where I was the marketing rights distributing manager, operational manager for the AKS, which is the Jahel Stadium in Doha, Qatar here, right? I also managed the youth program and got to spend a ton of time with some incredible children. And this is sort of my takeaway. It feels kind of like summer camp is ending. If you ever did a summer camp, you know there's like a definitive start and finish. You sort of go through the process or maybe you've never done camp. I understand. Maybe you've done like a chapter, or maybe you've done events or something where there was a definitive start and a definitive end. Maybe it was a conference, you started off, you don't really know each other, you're going throughout, maybe there's some struggles, some trials, some tribulations, some problem solving, whatever it is. And then at the end, you're all getting together and it's like, oh, we're going to miss each other. You're connecting on LinkedIn, or back in the day with signing t-shirts and, our notebooks or yearbooks or whatever. But it's the same kind of idea. It got me really thinking as I'm having these wonderful conversations with people who I've now met. It got me thinking about like the importance of gratitude, because now that we are finishing up this chapter, life is basically just a bunch of chapters that unfold, right? Like we have, here is our birth, and here is our death. Now, for some people, it could be 100, right? For other people, it could just be tomorrow. We don't know. And that's okay. But what we do know is that within our life, no matter how long it is, we have these, chapters. And within each chapter, we have years. And within each of those years, we have months. And within each of those months, we have days, and within each of our days, we have moments. And the beautiful thing about life is, and what I've really been reflecting on, now I'm 37, turning 38, I'm about to move Qatar, I'm about to launch this incredible adventure to go out, to talk to the world, to inspire, empower people to live happy, healthy lives. And I've been having amazing conversations with people, which have allowed me to do a lot of reflecting and looking back from, before I left the US, now almost 10 years ago, so much has happened during that time. This summer is my 20-year high school reunion. 20 years ago, I would have been 18. The amount of life experience between 18 and now, the adventures, the education, the stress, the great moments, the not so good moments, you name it. So many things have happened. Now, as I'm going forward and planning and thinking about the future, I'm looking back and I'm thinking, okay, yes, I've accomplished a lot. We all have. If you look back on your life and you just start making, for example, like an accomplishment board where you're really thinking about and reflecting on all the really cool things you've done. We've all done a lot, okay? And then you start to think, was I really happy during those moments? Did I really live fulfilled, and did I experience joy as much as I could? I know for me, definitely not. I allowed stress at moments to become too much. I allowed the problems that were going on in my life to be maybe overwhelming or take away from the moment of truly appreciating. And I would say that my one goal going forward is now to really, when I look back, right? So say this is who knows where you're at in terms of the lifespan, right? But say I'm halfway through life. I would hope to be climbing mountains in my 80s, but we'll call it halfway through life, or a third through life. Somewhere in there. Okay. When I look back on this time, there was a lot of unnecessary stress, lack of appreciation always. There was, of course, gratitude and great moments. But when I'm here reflecting, all I'm remembering is all the great stuff, right? All the good times, the adventures, the people I met. But then I have to say, did I really fully appreciate that and feel good during the process? Not as much as I could have. So my goal, or going forward, something I want to be very conscious of, and something I would challenge other people to be conscious of, is in 10 years time from now, or in 20 years time from now, when we look back on those years, we're going to remember all the good stuff. We're not going to remember the pain. For some reason, we as humans forget it. We're going to remember the people we met, the adventures we had, the things that we did, right? So being really mindful of appreciating that experience and the showing up as your best version of yourself in every single moment to really get the most out of it, I think is absolutely critical on getting to the end of your life and looking back and saying, did I live a good life? Once I started actually focusing on gratitude and feeling grateful for what I have, I have noticed that there's been a profound shift in how I feel like I'm showing up in my day-to-days. So I want to share with you today 7 ways to really cultivate gratitude, to really get the most out of your days. So, and these are the things that I've been doing. You do you, whatever works. This is what I have found works for me. Number 1, practice gratitude. So every morning before I get out of bed, as soon as my alarm goes off, and I have multiple alarms set intentionally in 5-minute sections, I sit and I lay in bed and I feel into this sensation of gratitude. It's not so much just saying to myself like, oh, I'm so grateful for the roof over my head, the apartment that I live in, the balcony that oversees the marina. Yeah, you can say those things, but the key is to really feel into it, because what that does is that creates this sensation over the body that kind of starts in your heart and sort of permeates out, that I don't know if it's like kick starts just a good mood straight away in the morning or what, but it's been working. My guess is that has something to do with the neurotransmitters of just feeling the oxytocin and the serotonin going off that really help elevate the mood from the time I wake up in the morning. Another thing, all right, morning affirmations. Again, this is my practice that I've been doing daily. As soon as I have done my gratitude practice, then it becomes affirming within the same short period of time. Because when you first wake up, your brain is still in that theta stage, which is really susceptible to reprogramming the subconscious mind. So if you tell yourself or think thoughts that are thoughts you want to be thinking regularly, I have found, or just choose to believe, either way, that in doing that regularly, the subtle, maybe limiting beliefs that I once thought are no longer coming up for me. These thoughts that I'm intentionally, or these affirmations that I'm intentionally reprogramming every day, tend to be the thoughts now that even in moments of stress are the thoughts that come up. Again, it's working for me. You do you, but I highly recommend this practice. And the more it's done, I have found the easier it is to get that sensation of whatever it is, blissful kind of pleasure over the body. The more it's easier to have those thoughts come up in the head, the ones I want to be thinking. And then as soon as I've done those things in the morning, having the, again, short period of time before getting out of bed to set an intention of how I want to show up in my world that day, right? So this can be as simple as visualizing, I guess, is kind of a part of setting intentions. I should just say visualizing goes along with this 100%. How I want to live out the day from the moment that I get out of the bed. So I already am kind of going through that in my head of like, okay, getting up, going to the restroom, going to do this, going to do this, going to do this, going to do this, like all of the things that follow that initial period of time. Next, priming your body, okay? This is so essential. Literally a good night's sleep, water, healthy, nutritious food going into the body. I don't know if you've ever like eaten junk and next day felt terrible. Yeah, it really is a thing. And what is it? Eating, sleeping, drinking enough water, and exercising, right? Of course, there's little hacks like jumping in the plunge tank or the gratitude exercises that can really start to prime your mind and your body as well. But doing those basic essentials is key for experiencing joy and bliss in these higher elevated feelings and levels and sensations that we can experience. Next is appreciate the little things. So as you bop around your day, we may not have a ton of time in the morning. I happen to be a huge, profound proponent for this idea of really embracing the morning routine, right? Whether it's a routine or it's just simple practices that you do often, it's incredibly important because what it does is it primes you to be able to, when you're looking for things because you've thought about them, as they come up throughout your day, you start to notice them. You start to notice these really great engaging conversations that you get to have with people. You notice the opportunity to just do something really small and nice. You are set up because you feel good to smile at the security guard even though they're not having a great time, which makes them smile back and you can just see them light up. It's these small little things, right, that compound over time that make your moments and then your days and then your weeks and your months turn into long periods of time where you're like, wow, this is happiness, right? There's going to be stress. There are problems to solve. If I've learned anything working in this tournament, it's just always a solution. There's always a problem to solve with, and there's always a solution. And when you're ready and you're primed for that, man, it's like you're bulletproof. You can take on anything. Next is review and reflect. At the end of the day, every day before you go to bed, spend some time with yourself, really looking back over your day. What were the things that you did super well? What were the things or the moments that you were like, oh, I wasn't the best version of myself. I was a little bit snappy or irritable with that person. How could I have done that a bit differently? And then really try to use those as opportunities for the next time that happens to then adapt and be like, oh, didn't like how I made that one security guard that one time feel. So therefore, I'm never doing that again. Now I'm going to show up and be the nicest person to all the security the rest of the tournament. This is my experience, of course. But yeah, that's essential, right? Because we're all humans. We all fluctuate hormonally. We all, depending on what you believe, shift with styles. Like, who knows, right? Mercury is practically always in retrograde. But we have this opportunity to review, reflect, and just kind of think about how we can be grateful for what we had that day, and then obviously make adjustments for it. And then lastly, rinse and repeat. If you ever read the book, The Compounding Effect, or you just have seen yourself do small little action steps daily that have led to, profound results later, that's the compound effect in action. So rinsing and repeating, which means just doing these small little things every day. This doesn't have to take forever. This can be a minute. This can be 5 minutes. For me, it's sometimes 10, 5 minutes. You have 20, 25 minutes you set aside for yourself to be able to prime yourself, bulletproof for yourself for the day. And if you were to do this long term, I somehow guarantee, here's the stamp of guarantee, over time you would notice this effect and you would find yourself reprogramming your brain to just elevate in your experience. And when you change, the world around you will change. If you have any questions about this, please leave it down below. I would love to answer it. And if you agree, like this video and subscribe so that you can learn more ways to live your ultimate life.